Well, folks, here again for the weekly forecast. Before we get to the main forecast, let's take a little retrospective look over this past week. Of course, the big news was the Arctic infiltration into the Central Plains, where temperatures across the state averaged at least 20 degrees below normal for the first part of the week. And then, of course, we've seen a brief warm-up, only to see a little system come through and drop some scattered light snowfall across the southern two-thirds of the state. And then a little bit of a warm-up during the midweek, late week period. And then yesterday, of course, another frontal boundary come through that touched off some pockets of sleet and a little bit of freezing drizzle. And now we enter the weekend with the chance for some warmer temperatures before we turn our attention to some more cold air coming in off and on during this next 7-day period. So let's take a look at the upper air models and see how this will progress. And the system that came through yesterday is now to the east of us. We do have ridging in place, so it should be a fairly nice day. We'll see temperatures warmest in the southwest. Coolest temperatures will be in the northeast. Doesn't appear to be anything in the way of moisture in the pipeline for today, but as we get into tomorrow, we'll see a rapidly moving system moving across the state, and this might generate some scattered rainfall, possibly even some light snowfall during the overnight hours of Sunday going into Monday. And as the system rapidly moves toward our east, we'll be in a slight northwest flow, so we'll see our coolest conditions once again across the northeast, and actually might see some fairly cool temperatures in relation to the southwest Nebraska. May be hard pressed to get into the 20s across northeast Nebraska, but 40s to possibly even 50s across southwest Nebraska looks to be in the cards. Now as we go into Tuesday, the system will deepen, and that will pull some exceptionally cold air across Iowa and parts of northeast and eastern Nebraska. It may just catch the western periphery of this cold air, but then we see that ridge across the western United States is going to try to make inroads into the state, and by the time we get into Wednesday, we'll see that it does make a little bit of a warm-up, but yet another system is poised to come down the pipeline from north central portions of the upper Midwest, and then that will move toward the southeast and reinforce some of the cold air to our east. We may actually touch off some light precipitation across portions of northeast Nebraska, particularly Wednesday night into Thursday morning. And as we get into Thursday, we'll see another inflow of cool air, but this ridge is showing very strong signs as we get into Friday to start moving into our region, and that might in itself, as we see this ridge build in, start a very long-term warming trend, our January thaw, and by all indications from the models right now, that will last from next Friday through at least the following Thursday, and we will see the cold air finally exit the region, and we will start to look at a major troughing pattern developing across the western United States that may actually start to increase precipitation in our region. So we'll have to wait and see till next week whether or not that verifies. So as we look at the temperature forecast, we are going to see some nice conditions across the west this weekend, and then we start to cool down during the early part of the week, only to warm up briefly on Wednesday before a slight cool down on Thursday, and then we warm again next Friday. 8 to 14-day forecast indicates that heat moving into our region, and in terms of precipitation, a dry forecast to our west.